This is Jared Leopold, just catching the last part of the top four game of Shadowfire versus Lark in the Phoenix Pods. Whoever wins this will go on to the championship game. Whereas the Echo versus Echo showdown was a match of just two people carving out huge chunks of damage each round. This game is coming down to incremental jabs and feints to try and work in the finishing shot. That is not the way Shadowfire's deck wants to work. It's in Lark's favor right now. We're starting to whittle away the deck. The decks are at 9 for Shadowfire's Odette and 11 for Lark's Noah deck. It's just been a pleasure to watch this last part. We are seeing just a very solid deck out of Shadowfire, uh, combining Butterfly Monks with Odette's Enter the Fray ability to be able to heal up and the damage she puts out using the brand new Summon Crow, which I haven't gotten to see that card in action, but it is a fantastic matchup here. It looks like a bunch of people are getting booted and getting back on, which I'm sure has got to be annoying for the players at times. Now, here's a full house here. There's 8 people checking out this game. What else we got? Last book on there is Frostback Bear, which is regaining popularity due to Phoenix Attendant being everywhere. Lark brought something completely out of left field as far as the meta is concerned. A Noah deck, which getting to use his new signature card with the Shadow Blade, which is phenomenal. If you guys haven't given it a shot to this, check it out. It's a ton of fun to play. Not only that, we have got Mono Illusion. I don't think there's been a Mono Illusion deck that's made a top cut in any tournament, much less using Reimagine from Hope's Precon deck. Right now, we're at 2 False Demons and 2 Shadowhounds. So, your classic Noah Reimagine Shadowhound deck making top cut. So, this has been just phenomenal to watch. The cards of note in Lark's deck that are left over. We've got Figures in the Fog. Oh, he really needed to get some wolf heads there. I mean, Lark is in just as much danger to meditating himself out of the game as he is forcing Shadowfire to meditate out. Who topped up frog pings? More importantly, access to molten golds. Uh, However, Shadowfire really needs go heads to make his deck work on his side. But that's tough to do, right? Because we've got 3 Imagines. But can't be triggered right now. It is Shadowfire's first turn to swing. Can't get the Shadow Helmets on board. So what are we doing? We're throwing a Frostback Bear out there. Gonna ping the false demon. I bet we are. Which I think Lark is probably sitting on Particle Shield, deciding whether to use it or not. And there it is. Third Particle Shield. Drawing deeper into the deck. Save the unit. Now it's got a Conjuration unit count of 2. Here comes the Keepsake down. Oh boy. Meditates the Vanish because we know we're not going to see Mold Gold this round anyway. Yep, he's getting that wolf head. Powers the reimagination in the Keepsake. just these more of these edge cases that are being seen in this deck by Lark that we have not seen in a competitive deck. Shadowfire's, like I said, Shadowfire's deck is a nice, clean deck when you're taking a look at it. We got Seeds of Aggression, we got the Old Salts, Hammer Knights, Raptor Herder, Fire Archer, got the Festers. Now, I'm just jumping in the tail part of this game, so the Sympathy dice, I'm assuming, is for Seeds of Aggression, and I'm guessing Sympathy Paint too. That would be my guess. Alright, we take out one of the demons with the Master Vampire. Get ourselves a Bone Crow, which is pretty much always going to be a 2/1/1 attacks to the Phoenixborn's face. But we're going to get a second Shadowhound using the focus ability to ping it down. What I don't see in Shadowfire's discard deck is Wrath of Nature, which now that we're out of the particle shields, these Shadowhounds are um, very vulnerable to that. But if we are this deep in the game and we don't have any Nature's Wraths in the bin, I'm guessing it's not in the deck. I mean, we've already seen 2/3 of the deck, and that's not in there. You know what we're not seeing here? We're not seeing Noah use his ability. Maybe just figures that a Butterfly Monk is not his worry. Shadowfire is definitely hands are bound right now with all these basic dice. You hate to meditate when we're getting so close to the end game. Like, what are you looking at? If you play your hands out, you've got 2 full rounds. And he's got those sympathy pains that he needs to keep relevant. But he just ditched one right there. There's the Nature's Wrath. Boom. Hiding this whole time. You could call this game Hidden Nature's Wrath? What was that? Stalking Tiger? Hidden Nature's Wrath? Something like that. Alright, what do we got? So we are going to clear the board off Lark here. Done. Gone. In a hilarious turn of events, though, Lark's going to be able to turn around, summon another Shadowhound and ping down the Master Vampire. And then use a die to shutter up the monk. Butterfly Monk, which I like that play quite a bit. Goes with a false demon instead. Just taunting that Odette into the fray for the 2 damage, basically. We got 2 Hammer Knights, 2 Master Vampires in the discard. Alright, here we go. Assuming this is going in, pretty easy. I think this is a tough call. I would be tempted to let the Frostback Bear swing through. The first player button is coming back to you because you want to try and get maximum value out of your Shadowhound. So you want that Butterfly Monk to come through. Gets rid of the another Sympathy Pain. I think it's a fine play. What are we looking at? He's looking for two go-aheads. Oh, it's tough to match those cards. There goes Blood Chains. Alright, so you what? Grab Old Salt. It's literally all I can think of. That would be less than great. So let's say he does grab Herder, play it, and you still just attack and gack the Frostback. And then can you get... If there were two Herders in the bin, that'd be amazing. Alright, there meds off the Nature's Wrath off the top. Gets the monk. Okay. Alright, so this is now. Now you get the Raptor Herder. And I don't think there's any way where Lark avoids. Smart. Such a smart play. You get in for the two. Like you were going to take some damage anyway. So you take the two from the Frostback. You wait. Because you still have to wait. Now, if he flips up, if he grabs the Raptor Herder and plays it, I think you go after and take out the Raptor Herder. So then you just take two more, or it takes out your Shadowhound. So that's probably what I'd end up doing. But then at the top of the next round, you're going to take another Shadowhound's going to get summoned. Ping off the bear. And hold down the fort for the other one. And then then Noah can also lock down the Frostback Bear book. Oh, wheels within wheels, folks. But there is now a distinct deck advantage on Lark's play side by two cards. In the difference here, he also has a spell board full of books that he can meditate away. That's going to be a deal. That's 100% a thing. Alright, here we go. Yep. Go heads up. The Raptor. Attack the Raptor. Oh, it doesn't matter if you attack the Raptor, right? Because the Butterfly Monk. No, you've got stock. Just Shadowhound. So good. If, you can balance out 3 dice multiple times in a round, which is next to impossible. All right, I still stick with swinging into the raptor. The hatchling goes after the herder. I don't like this play at all. The reason I don't like it because it also gives him access to go ahead and flip it again next round, since he's got the go ahead ready to go. All right, swinging for the one. We knew that was going to happen. All right, top around has to play a Shadowhawk. All right, going in. Shadowfire is figuring out whether to snap a dude back to his hand. In my experience, you don't do it. You get what you draw and you go from there because you can grab it next round. I understand you're trying to save dice. And at this point, you're trying to save cards in deck too. But I think that go ahead is more valuable as a go ahead. But I understand you're facing down Mono Illusion. Granted, he didn't roll a single wolf head last round. Doesn't mean he's not going to next round. So yeah, you know what? Change my mind on that. That's the right call. Yeah, and he gets the herder. He gets the herder. It just got gagged. Ooh, painful. All right, there you go. Bye, bear. Yep, the bear book. 4 basics. Ouchie. Shadowfire did a little bit better. At least he got 4 power sides. Did I say 4? I meant 3. Lark did get 2 wolf heads, so not for nothing. Okay, now I think Shadowfire can hang out and lean on his books and snap his knights back for a longer term game. And then also with those butterfly monks too, right? For a longer term game. Lark needs to keep drawing cards to be able to get those reactions into play. Alright, Lark uses the wolf head. Let's see what he uses to spin down here. Well, first keepsake gets blown up. And he's going after. Okay. Alright. Gets him off go ahead, which I think was huge. Fully agree with that. And down to just 1 frog leaf. Okay. We know, well, we're assuming third sympathy pain and probably a couple molten golds is what I would guess. Boy, alright, we've seen 2 Nature's Wrath. Is there a third one? I would guess so. Hate, and there's Final Cry. Alright, if this is a full burn package, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, right? Shadowfire is holding on to, what, 2 molten golds, 2 final cries, a sympathy pain. That's 5 of his 6 cards left. Now, looking at the spread of stuff in here, I don't think he'd run just a single blood chains. Maybe. Or a single fester, right? Both those cards fulfill generally the same tier in a deck, so I can maybe see doing one of each. Okay, so I'm guessing that Shadowfire is not on a full burn package. I would guess one more final cry. Tough not to have a third sympathy pain. That card is just so good. Hey, we're up to 10 spectators. In our modern era, outside of what Shuffle busts around, this, as far as I know, this is the most spectated game at one point in time. While the players are thinking here, if you were new to the game or don't know about Ashes Reborn, check it out. It's by Plaid Hat Games. Uh, there is a very lively Discord community, and then the game is being played on Ash Techie with decks built on another fan service of Ashes 5. We are in a top cut. We're in the top 4 right now. Like I said, where this goes the championship game of a tournament called the Phoenix Pods 1, um, being run, I believe, by both Impossible German and Chaos Theory on our Discord channel. So there we go. I don't know if this was just a learning process there. Plays a Shadow Hound, takes out the hatchling. All right. Boy, it's tough to see, isn't it? Like how Lark just chews through dice. But, so the third book must be in here somewhere, considering how Shadowfire's got his deck put together. And the third book is going to be monstrous, but he can apply a lot of pressure here. We've got one keepsake, so if he does get a night down, it's going to get blown up almost immediately. We are looking good here. There's the Call Upon the Realms. Watching the game a little bit early before I was able to hop on and start recording on there. I was thought it was ironic that both players were in a pretty tight spot. Would love to get Call Upon the Realms. But then it occurred to me for Lark, I wouldn't run Call Upon the Realms. I would run Hidden Power. I think Hidden Power is a vastly underutilized spell. One basic illusion, you spin up 5 dice and draw a card. Just go straight to power side with 5 dice. Which, when we're seeing more decks like this that need to leverage, like the shouldn't say leverage, but the mill, a little bit of spin down is becoming more popular plan, and so you can fight that with making it easy on yourself, like Call Upon the Realms, Hidden Power, that sort of things. Okay, meditate. We meditate of figures in the fog from their hand. That call upon the rump was big. Can Shadowfire finish it this round or top of next round? That's what he's going to have to do. Because we were getting down to no cards in his deck. Basically, Lark gets one more free round to draw before he starts running into the same problem. Yeah, I keep saying he for Lark in Shadowfire, and I actually do not know on that. I need to get better about that. So I'm unaware. No, all right. Boy, this is exciting. I think Lark's just trying to get through this round. Shadowfire desperately needs to figure out a way to leverage having this many dice. It's a super feel bad go heading up at night, only to have it get blown up by Keepsake. But and then like Lark just because you have to make a move on it this round, otherwise the other reimagine is going to come into play and just knock those go heads back down. Which at this point, I think it's safe to say the Bow and Crow book is probably fine to get meditated. All right, here comes the attack. We are guessing he is still sitting on removal plan or burn. So we're still looking at Final Cry. All right, Figures in the Fog. Puts the hatchling back in reserve. Swing in for two. Yeah, you just let that go. Get that dice efficiency off the reimagine is huge, which you need some of that back because you are running Shadowhound. Okay. Do we see that third Nature's Wrath? Okay, now he attacks the Raptor. Interesting. Alright, now Noah's going to be down to almost zero deck as well, it looks like. Going into the next round. Yeah, this matchup is a lot about sequencing. Just play within play, trying to get your opponent to overextend. Shadowfire has the overwhelming advantage right this second, but can you take advantage of it? I am surprised. I didn't reimagine there. Get those go heads down. I think if I were Shadowfire, I'd be very tempted just to use go ahead and pass. I know you're giving up a huge advantage, but those dice being spun up is a big deal. What are we going here for? Old salt. Old salt would be pretty great. A nice happy medium. Grab the old salt, play it, ping off the Shadowhound, the exhausted Shadowhound. That's a tremendous trade. Yep, there it is. That's what he's going for. Hmm. He needs that herder dead. It's an interesting proposition to ping it himself, right? Ping it himself, attack with old salt. And then grab it and slam it down. I love that sequence of plays. And if you're Lark, I don't know what you do here. You gotta keep keepsake open in case of Shadowfire. Goat heads for Hammer Knight. Playing False Demon just means it gets nuked by Odette's Enter the Fray. I think passing is the best option here. Alright, now Shadowfire. Boy, and I said just pass. What a silly goose I am. Yeah, swing with the old salt. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh my goodness. How could you forget about Shadow Strike? uh, uh, woof, from downtown. Then he immediately mills off and reimagine to get another wolf head. Oh, from downtown. Amazing. No, I think you stick to that same plan. I would have liked to have seen Bow and Crow. It doesn't work though. He needed to, yeah. After the attack, he needed to snap back herder. It is hard to say. Well, I don't. It's not hard to say. I was gonna say it's hard to say who has the advantage going into extra rounds with no cards, with no deck, and I think you have to favor Lark. I think now Odette gets a monster advantage because of her ability. Someone just posted something about skinny arm on Odette. I don't know if I see it. Yeah, she's just ripped. She's fantastic. Odette is probably my top 5 favorite to play for control style. All right, shoots, smart, smart play. Enter the fray. His own butterfly monk to be able to trigger bone crawl. So now he can flip over. Go ahead, herder. Wait, no, herder's still up. Why do I keep thinking he's shooting herder? He's not doing the same plan I am, unless he's got herder in hand. That'd be pretty legit. Oh, just attack to face for 2. He's got that burn backup plan, right? Two vanishes are in the bin, and I would be hard pressed to run 3 vanishes. But Lark has been piloting a successful tournament thus far, so who's one to question any sort of building skills that he's got into this deck so far? Oop, what happened there? Shadowfire changed his mind, looks like. I don't know, seems like a pretty good deal, especially if he's got Final Cry in his hand. I mean, you take 3 back to the face, but I think at this point that's fine, because you know that Lark's down on any sort of burn plan, so. Final Cry? No, no Final Cry. But it was all just a bluff? Okay, okay. Attack with just the Raptor Herder. Ah, you don't have enough. Needed to meditate during one of those times to be able to make all this work. Because there is a world where you can ping off your own Raptor Herder and play it. Especially after you played the Bone Pro. Hate to give up books, certainly going into the final rounds, but yeah. So looking at top round, pretty good damage. Assuming he's got more than one. Molten gold for the win. Alright, what do we got going on here? No, there's the ping to get rid of the raptor herder. Looks like he's just getting prepared for next round? But why wouldn't you take the extra 1 point at the top of round swing at this point? Figures. All the figures are gone. I mean, Shadow Blade's going to be hilarious when it happens. Up to 10, up to 11. Have train. Pew, pew, pew. Alright, he's going to have to do the slow attack plan so then he can grab it, slap it back on top. Then he can attack with the raptor. Just attack with only the raptor herder. Attack one with the raptor herder. Spin up the frog. You put Lark in a no-win situation. Hmm. Disconnectivity issues going on over there. There we go. Swings in for one with the raptor herder. I have a hard time believing that this game is not over. All right. The Raptor Herder in hand. He's got to attack with the Raptor Herder. So the both Lark and Shadowfire are in chat mode, so they can just talk to each other about what's going on here. I'm gonna pretend that they're talking about what to order for food later. Well, I have no idea what happened there. I'm going to guess there's not. Right. Carl rightly. Yeah. Yeah, they weren't quite ready. Like, whoa, what is going on? Okay. All right, folks, let's talk about it. Is that a mistake or is that a misclick? During a top four game, and if your opponent does something like that, do you let it go? There were plenty of opportunities to spin up the die to be able to do what he needs to do to get the most damage out of it. And it just didn't happen. Now, I believe the game is probably over anyway. It's not going to have any change on the standings. I think if you go back more than one round, even into your opponent's turn, you shouldn't really allow takebacks on there. What? Whoa. Yeah, I'll be fascinated to see what they talk about here. Yeah, yeah, but it's not our job as spectators to comment on the games. It's not. Um, there are no judges in Ashes Reborn. Um, that is something that I wouldn't mind being addressed in future tournaments. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still gonna come in for 5. Holy cast, look at those dice. Okay, Shadowfire is talking about not having eyesight. Um, sucks. Thought used the main circuit to grow the raptor and swing with another set of them. Found out they couldn't do that, so it's fixing that problem. Alright, now this doesn't get Lark. Yeah, I was expecting he had the Shadow Blade. Drew the final Shadow Blade and the cards that are left over. Still comes through for 3. And just look at all those. Yeah, there's the final cry, which we were expecting. Puts him down to 1 instead of the game being over. Or I guess down to 2. That was the reaction was off the first kill from Shadowblade. Okay, right on. So we've got Lark down to 2, Shadowfire at 8. Full control of the game, assuming there's more burn to come. Shadowfire didn't have to meditate at all there, did he? Did they? So it's possible they could have attacked all that carnage happens and then get a Bone Crow into play. Really forcing the issue. Bone Crow. Super interesting. Alright, so instead, Lark gets quote unquote a free turn to try and use Reimagine. But now he doesn't have the cards in his deck. Lark would have to figure out a way to just win this round. That was pretty much the case anyway, but can now machine gun down False Demon, but here we go. Let's see it. Puts the her in the bin. I think you keep targeting the butterfly monks. I think you want to keep that raptor herder from any chance of being recursed by dice. Okay, what are we looking at here? I think Shadowfire's got a ton of different options here. Yep, here comes Bear. I really do think Lark just overlooked hitting Bear. Well, no, because he had to. No, he had to spin those dice down to get rid of. Yeah. Yep. Then to be able to get that to allow Frostbear to hit play. So yeah, all the particle shields are gone. Okay. There's Shadowhound taking out the Butterfly Monk. Takes out the Butterfly Monk with Noah's ability. Coming down all the way down just to 2 dice left over. So no chance of getting a second Shadowhound. We're just looking at False Demons at this point. Or Keepsake for a night. If Shadowfire is running a third Hammer Knight or Master Vampire, which I wouldn't think so. I mean, if you have another Final Cry, you just spin it up and swing with the bear and auto win. But I think the deck just has a nice complement of burn because they have the full burn, right? Because we've got so far 2 Sympathy Pains, 2 Final Cries, 1 Molten Gold. That's 5 burn. That's enough for your reach. Like you don't. In order for a reach to be reach, it doesn't have to be your whole plan. This has to get your last points of damage, and that's what we're seeing right here. Got a little bit of bypass with the bear. Hmm. Okay, there goes the Fester, which we did assume there was one in there. Okay, so we are 100% not on second Molten Gold in the deck. Hmm. 3. Okay, going for broke. Love it. Okay, so I think we can safely say that it's not burn, but there's no burn in the deck. Because sequencing wise, there was an opportunity to play that Final Cry for the win, right? All right. He spun down and passed. Hmm. Putting the damage on Shadowfire. Oh boy. This is the sort of games that keep your guts in knots. He's got a wolf head stuck up there. No, a second Shadowhound. Because we've only seen 2 wraths, that would make me wary, but at the same time, I don't know how much it matters. He had enough dice to get another Shadowhound. And really, you're just trying to survive the round. And it appears that Shadowfire has run out of the burn plan. And from parts of the game that I've watched so far, I didn't see any swings that Shadowfire missed there. Just sequencing there where he could have gotten in an extra 1 or 2, which, as we're looking at, I mean, that's that's enough. Um, which definitely just re-emphasizes how close this game is. Sequencing, meditating, a side action missed here or there can make all the difference in this particular game. And I would say Ashes does that generally well as a game. And it certainly doesn't help with Lark's game plan of trying to keep your dice down, which gives another added benefit of forcing your opponent to needing their side actions for meditation. If there's just a single call upon the realms in this deck, I'm calling shenanigans. Only because I've never been brave enough just to run one. But you know it's good. You know it helps out. And in this match, it almost was the difference. I'm not saying Shadowfire is done either. The game's still going, but there's a lot to think about to try and make this work at this point. Which you don't have enough. Yeah, no, it's over. There's not enough cards to meditate, so you can't get your out by trying to snap dudes back to your hand. You just can't. Wow. Just wow. The game has just sat on a fulcrum the whole time. Just leaning, building one way or the other for both players. So good. Mm. It was truly unfortunate. It comes down to just a miss sight from last round, not getting that extra meditation in there to be able to double down on the herders. All right, we've got some action here. What are we gonna do here? There's not many things that Shadowfire can do that I know of. Just attacking with one Shadowhound is brutal. Yeah, Lark hasn't gotten a ton of wolf heads, but the few he's got, he immediately funneled into Reimagine. Sealed Shadowhound, just holding down the board. Huh. Not words that I thought I would say. Commenting on a top game. Fantastic. I wonder how many times I've declared that this game was over. It's definitely the fun of watching the players go through it. Just any given, what is today, Saturday? Any given Saturday. encroaching into Sunday if you're on the East Coast. Nice casual evening on the West Coast for the Americas. I want to say hi to all of our international fans. You should definitely be asleep at 4 a.m. But this wall of disconnection and joining is got to be rough on the players. Not quite sure what trick Shadowfire could have up his sleeve at this point, up their sleeve at this point. Just one hell of a run for both competitors here. Oh, I wanted to get back to, right. So just the single call upon the realms was fantastic. Just to throw it in there and know that it's a good card and have it almost be the card that really helps turn the tide here. It's fantastic. It just, I wouldn't do that. I always like to take a look at the weakness of the deck. If I feel like I need more spin up, I'm going to run at least two of the thing. And Shadowfire calls it. Tremendous game. Both players, amazing. That Shadowfire top four, phenomenal. Yeah, and Shadowfire's in there. I choked the game away there, and I don't like it. Yeah, it's a rough feeling. It's a rough feeling. Um, but that game was phenomenal. You can't, you cannot feel down on yourself for other competitors rolling into this. Uh, Played incredibly well at a high level just to get here alone, just to get here. And here we are. Uh, Phenomenal. Yeah, Lark's at one life. The differences are meditations. Literally, that's it. That's the differences. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. Uh, Jared, if you want to check out the other videos, please do. Hopefully, I'll be able to check out the championship game, but we'll see what times it happens. Thanks so much. Bye.